Lieutenant Ed Haddon has accomplished something that most of us cannot say we've done. Truly given himself to our country. Lieutenant Haddon fought in World War II and took part in a pivotal battle for the Hochwald Gap in February 1945. And here now to tell us more about that battle and his years of service is Ed Haddon, World War II veteran and lieutenant with the Sherbrooke Fusiliers. And it's a great pleasure to have you here in our studio.
Thank you.
And very nice to meet you as well. How old were you when you first joined the service?
16.
16?
Probably 16. I was in England when I was 17, so...
You're living in Quebec at the time, yes?
Yes, sure. Bay d'Urfé.
Why'd you join so young, Mr. Hadden?
Well, there was no work. It was I don't know if you could call it a depression, but it was awfully hard to find a place to work. And I was working in a garage for a while, and I drove taxi and a number of things. And the pay was lousy, and the conditions were lousy. And I was, just looking for something better, I guess. That was one reason I joined.
So this would have been the militia when you were 16. So we're talking, the war hasn't broken out yet, right?
No, the war didn't break out until the 10th of September, 1939.
39, right. And you joined the militia when?
38.
The year before.
I went to I used to go 2 nights a week in summer camp. And I went to Valcarce for the first summer camp. Mm-hmm. The next summer camp, which is 39, I went to Mount Bruno.
Okay. So World War II, of course you remember, Germany invades Poland, September 1st, 39. The war breaks out. How long until you then decided to sign up with the Canadian Forces?
Oh, I was signed up before Canada declared war.
Because Canada took, what, about 9 or 10 days to declare war? 10 days.
10 days. Britain took 3, I think, 2 or 3.
Yes.
And I joined up before that. But I don't really, it's a kind of a vague thing in that when I joined the Army, I didn't know what I was joining because I didn't know much about the administration, but it was the name of the unit was called Number 1 General Base Depot, which to me meant nothing. But now I think I know that it was an administration unit, and they weren't fighters.
So what did you think you'd be doing by signing up?
I didn't really know, except that I'd be getting regular pay and a place to sleep and food.
So that was the prime motivation?
Well, that was part of it. And the other thing is that my dad had been in the services. He's from Britain.
Your father fought in World War I, did he not?
Yes.
He
did.
Yeah.
My dad spent 15 years in the British Navy and 5 years in the Canadian Army. And
so you were following your dad's footsteps in some respects.
Yeah. And he was killed in a car accident. And I felt very badly about that. And the government wasn't about to help my mother, and she had no cash flow.
Was he killed before the war started?
No, he served in the Canadian Army in the First World War.
No, I mean in the Second War. Was he killed before the Second World War started?
Yes.
He was, okay.
He died in 1929.
Oh, so he never saw you as a soldier?
No.
That's too bad.
No.
Do you regret that?
Yes, I do. I wished I could have talked to him about the war because my brothers weren't interested. I had three brothers, and they weren't interested in talking about war. And my dad, I think, could have been interested if he'd had someone to talk with, but I never got that chance.
When you signed up, Mr. Hadden, did you not worry about getting killed?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I never thought. I thought about 10 other things, I guess. It was a new life for me. You live in barracks and you live right up tight to people, and all kinds of people. And this is what surprised me because I was so young. I had no worldly experience whatsoever.
Now, when you first got shipped overseas, were you nervous when you got sent over?
No,
You weren't?
no. And I joined the ship in St. John, New Brunswick, and we went up to Halifax, and we took on a bunch of Newfoundland people who were going over to join the Royal Artillery because it was still British. And we went over in an Empress boat, a Duchess boat, Duchess of Richmond, Canadian Pacific. I think it's Canadian Pacific.
And you're what, 17, 18 at this point?
I was 17.
17 years old.
Yeah.
And you're on a boat overseas to
Yeah.
go fight in World War II.
Yeah. And this ship was a passenger liner and very fast. This Duchess boat, but it wasn't allowed to go fast because it was under escort.
I
so
see.
it took a lot longer to get over. But we landed at Liverpool, and that's when the war.
So then you started some training, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I look upon the thing from my own view as being almost like two separate wars. One was the war which was supplied by equipment. It had to be, well, they say there's 4 people behind every frontline soldier. And so those 4 people had to be responsible for keeping these other people in the front line, supplied with all the equipment they needed, all the rolling stock, trucks, cars, jeeps, and food, and petrol, and all that.
How many months of training before you were, as it were, ready to go fight?
Well, you see, that's the other part of the war. I did this for years. I don't know just how many. Well, I was stationed in Borden, Hampshire, and the name of our unit was MTVRD, Motor Transport Vehicle Reception Depot, and we were responsible for getting rolling stock to the people who needed them, and they were stationed in England. So they were using English vehicles, and they were called impressed vehicles. They were really vehicles which the British Army had taken off the street and said, "Look, that's not your truck anymore, that's my truck.
We need that truck.
We need that truck."
And they didn't have, I guess,
camouflaged it.
they didn't have enough drivers though, right?
And they didn't have drivers.
So they needed you.
Yes. So I wasn't old enough to go overseas. You can't go overseas till you're 19. And you can't join the Army till you're 18. And I had screwed this up a little bit, and I had put my age in at about 18. The Army still doesn't know that.
Should we nail this down? How old are you today?
91.
You're 91 now.
Yeah.
Now you're not fibbing again, are
The
you?
Army says I'm 92. But
You're not still fibbing, are you, Mr. Haddon?
No.
You're not shaving a few years off your age?
No, not a bit.
Okay.
Anyway, this to me was one part of the war, and it was no fighting. That's why I distinguish it. It's kind of like it's a job. You work every day. You get up all hours of the day and night, and you deliver trucks. You pick them up as deck cargo. I went up to I was stationed in Borden, which is south of London, and I had to go up to a Leith dock in Edinburgh to pick up an ambulance one time. That's 400 miles, you know. And it's these are the sort of jobs you got into, and you even hauled bodies, you know, and you hauled materials for people who were making new accommodation for soldiers coming in. Anyway, this was a different war, you know, no fighting.
But eventually, you did get into some fighting.
Building up to, we didn't have much. I think the Canadian Army had about 2 vehicles, you know what I mean? It was just nothing. And we had to get vehicles over in a hurry and drivers. And when I was in Montreal, they found out how old I was, and they said, "You got to stay here till you got a birthday." So I was very unhappy about that, because that's one place you don't want to stay, is in the city of Montreal. You want to get out and there's some action. Anyway.
Well, can we talk about some of that action?
Well, yes.
Let's talk about some of that, because you participated eventually, I think this is in early 1945, in something called the Battle of the Hochwald Gap,
Yeah.
which is a very well-known tank battle.
Yeah.
In fact, can we bring the map up at this point? Would that be okay, control room? Let's bring that up, because here's the European theater right now. And I don't know if you can see that map up there, but
No, I can't.
this is the area where you were involved. You needed to, maybe you can tell us about what the objective of the operation was.
Well, you call it the Battle of the Hochwald Gap.
Mm-hmm.
That's one name. There's another one. There's a Reichwald. Is another. And as you advance, the first forest you came to was the Hochwald, and the second one was the Reichwald. And the Reichwald, the Germans had cut a gap in it. Well, I even go back a little bit further. This was a Rhineland, called Rhineland, and it was a little piece of Germany which poked up into Holland. Not very big, but there was a number of industries in it, lots of power. The ground was undulating, and they had put in dams, and they were able to control the amount of mud we went through by just opening gates. And I've never seen so much mud in my life. It flowed, and it covered all the fences, all the roads, and you couldn't tell. You couldn't go by any maps or tracks. There was nothing. And I had occasion to have to take up some food and ammunition and petrol in what we call crocodiles, which are turretless tanks. Mm-hmm. They take the turret off. It weighs 6 tons, so they put it to one side, and they make as much space as they can make in the tank and fill it full of hot meals and what I told you. And I had 3 of them at one time, and I used to deliver food up to the front. But I get so turned around with explaining it, but to me that was very simple, except for the mud. I had to chain these, cable them together. It cabled, so you don't. I had 3 of them. You don't run 1 or 2, you run 3, and if you got 4, you run 4, because there's always one stuck and there's always one pulling, and you can seesaw through that mud, you know. But the tracks get so deep that the belly of the tank, you know, sucks on, and it won't go. So you could step off the tank without even stepping down. That's how much mud there was. And the tracks were built, you know, where each track was. And anyway, that was part of my experience. And that was another part about fighting. But the Reichwald, trying to think of that. This part of Germany that went up in there was the first part of Germany we liberated. And the Germans didn't want that, didn't like that very much, so they fought very hard, very viciously. And we couldn't have taken it without the British help, I don't think.
So the Brits were there?
The Brits were there.
The Canadians were there?
Yeah. And a lot of regiments, the Canadians were there, including the Sherbrouks. And we had a 4th Canadian Armoured Division, and it was made up of several regiments. And they were the first ones to go into the gap. And this gap, it kind of went over a hog's back. You know, there was a ridge, small ridge, and we approached that, and this was all spotted with fairly large trees, like fairly big trees. And the Germans cut them all off about 2 feet long, 2 feet high. And it's very difficult to go through stumps because you break your track,
Sure.
Or pull it off. And the Germans had figured all this out and how they were going to, they had lots of time to do it, how they were going to do it. And they let the 4th Canadian Armored Division get it into that gap. And it went right up to the ridge. And there was no Germans. We didn't see any Germans. So they continued on. Then finally the Germans pushed them back.
How long did the battle last?
Probably 2 or 3 days. But
Heavy casualties?
yes, heavy casualties in tanks, because these tanks, they were repairable because we were advancing. If you're retreating, they're not repairable.
Right. You saw men die those days?
Oh yes.
Lots?
Yes. And there was lots of, well, we never had the experience of fighting in under those conditions. And most of the tanks were mechanically broken, not burnt. But the Germans put tanks in there. Then there was a tank battle. And some of those tanks hit each other. Boom, like this. Because they fought at night, and they couldn't see, and they could hear. And a German tank makes a different noise than a Canadian tank. And anyway, the Germans knew, they're soldiers, they're smarter than we are. They knew how we would try and take this piece of land. And they waited at the right time, and when they had driven us back and caused all the casualties and we had to withdraw, they withdrew too. So the Canadians decided that they would put more people in, but there was nobody there. They'd gone. And what they had done is run down the other side, and there they put some tanks spotting, waiting. And a friend of mine, this is just by the way, a friend of mine, he was in that area at that time, and he got two German tanks, 2 Panthers.
Now you're the commander at this point, are you not?
Yeah, you're a troop leader. You've got 4 tanks.
Okay.
4 tanks.
Did you lose friends that day?
No. We had this. By that time, the Germans had pulled back, and we got smarter, and we knew where they were and how we were going to get them out.
But in the men that you were in charge of, did you lose any of your troops?
No.
You didn't? Okay.
No. And anyway, the Canadian Army, and they have a problem. We got this thing that the Germans are killing our tanks with. So they decided that they probably should not go through the gap. Why don't we go around? This is about 6 miles, this ridge, 6 miles long. And the Germans figured that what we would do, we would want to go through the gap because we don't want to go 6 miles. And to get through it, because you couldn't go through the middle at all. And so they took out the 4th Canadian Armored Brigade. I've forgotten the regiments, the British Columbia Regiment, there's one in Alberta. Anyway, they went in there and they got the hell banged out of them. And the Canadians decided not to waste any more, men and materials. So they went to 6 miles.
Huh.
And at the end of this thing is a town called Umschaven. And as I say, the Germans fought very hard in this area, and some of the farmers were smart enough to lock their animals up. Otherwise, we'd kill them, eh? We'd kill them, eat them.
Who won the battle?
That battle? We eventually won it because we put the weight on, put the number of tanks and people, and then doubled them up or tripled them up. So and the Germans were retreating, eh? And there's a lot of battles going on the sides too, so they would wrap around. So they had to move, the Germans had to move out, and of course we moved in, and the gap was ours, but we didn't use it. Once you've gone through it, it's yours, but you don't need it. You just chase the other people out. But we had a lot of air cover, and they found out that the air cover is good if you drop the bombs in the right place, but it isn't much good if you drop them somewhere else. And they quite often used to be friendly bombers were bombing us. And anyway,
did many of your men get killed by friendly fire?
I'm not sure. I don't think in that particular battle. But what else can I tell you?
Well, tell me this. You got wounded at some point, didn't you?
Yeah.
What happened to you?
I was out of my tank doing an orders group with the infantry. See, I don't know if you knew this, but tanks are useless without infantry, and infantry are useless without tanks because they support each other. They give what they can give, and it's what the other people want. And if we call for air cover, hopefully the instructions are such that the bombs will come on where you want them.
Mm-hmm. But what happened to you?
Well, I was, what happens to an officer at that time in that area is that they generally have to work at night. And it's generally planning what you're going to do the next day along with the infantry. And so you have to get together. And this is very hard on lack of sleep. But you get together, and what amazes me to this day is how you find each other. Because everybody's hiding. You don't standing up, And so you're hiding or trying to get some sleep. But somebody will find you. They have a little runner, soldiers just on their feet with a rifle, and they pass messages and find people, and it's quite a system. And somebody has to find Lieutenant Hadden, and they have no idea where I am. And of course, I dug into a dike or something and made myself a bed, and I'm sleeping. But they'll find you. This is what amazes me. And they go, what they want you to do, say, look, you're going in to work with this group of infantry tomorrow, and we want you on a group, an orders group. Otherwise, you won't know who's who and what's going on. So they put you in a jeep and take you to wherever the orders group's going to be.
But how did you get wounded, Lieutenant Hadden?
I got banged up with mortar.
A mortar?
Yeah.
So mortar exploded, and where did it hit you?
In the knee, in the right knee.
Shrapnel?
Yeah.
Were you down for the count?
Oh, yeah. I was up for the count. What happens is they blow a pretty good hole, and they bleed a lot. And when you stand up like that, you'll get lightheaded, and you fall down again. You just pass out. And so once you're horizontal, then you come to again. And you what am I doing lying down? I got to stand up, so you stand up. And then your boot fills up with blood again. So you.
But they got you out.
Yeah. Oh, what they do is they have jeeps. They will pull out as many wounded as they can pull out as fast as they can. They can't stay up there because they're what they call thin skins. There's no armor on those at all. And they can get probably a half a dozen in a jeep, soldiers. And
where did they take you to fix you up?
Well, they have a system of behind. Say they're advancing that direction. They have all the people who are wounded there have to be pulled back and treated because we don't have facilities up there to treat it.
When the mortar hit you, did you think you were going to die?
No. The only sensation I can remember was hot. Whatever came into my leg was hot, and I guess it seared the blood eventually, but it was bleeding very badly. And I went back. I don't know how far it was. It probably could be a mile, but it's from a barn to a barn, basically. We used to use the barns, the lofts, and other things, and put the wounded in there and treat them as best we could. But they're shuttled back. There may be 2 or 3 or 4 changes, and we had the ambulance will hold 5, 2, like 1, 2, and 1 in the middle. And the one in the middle is on the floor.
Which leg did you get hit?
Right.
Right leg?
Yeah.
Have you still got shrapnel in there?
No.
They got it all out.
Took it out, yeah. Well, I went back, I don't know how many barns, and eventually I was worried about them taking my tank suit off. I wanted my tank suit, and I liked it. It was warm, and it was comfortable, and so on. But they want to undress you, and God, that makes me mad. You can't tell them anything. They'll do whatever they want, from what I saw.
Did you worry that you were going to lose your leg?
No, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't hurting. It was burning a little,
But that was the end of the fighting for you, I guess, right?
yes.
You couldn't fight after that.
No.
The war was over for you.
The war was over. Well, I didn't know the war was over, but it was. It did stop. I went back, and I eventually got to a place where I come to an airfield, and it's picked up by a Dakota ambulance airplane, and I was flown to Brussels, Belgium, and you go in there, and they put you immediately into a dark-filled room, so they can see the shrapnel, and they have a marker, black marker, and this is one group of people. They find the shrapnel as the wounded people come in. They say there, and they make a little X, and then whoever is going to treat you from then on has to make a decision whether they're going to operate or not, I guess. And in my case, it was obvious because the shrapnel went through about almost all the way out.
Was the pain not excruciating?
No.
It wasn't?
No.
Really?
No.
How could it not be?
Well, it's shocking. I think you might have more sensitive in the surface of your skin rather than deep. I don't know.
Did you for years after have lingering difficulties walking or anything?
No, but I had trouble after. I was in the British hospital for 23 days. And by that time, my leg had pretty well healed and seized up, but I couldn't move the damn thing, and it was painful to move it. So I was sent to Knocker-sur-Mer, which is Belgium. It's on the coast. And there you had a program of physio.
Oh, okay.
Where every day, and when they're happy that you can walk a little, they'll give you a leave. If you've had 23 days or more, you can have a leave in England.
You've brought in some of your hardware, and I'd like to ask you about it now, if I could.
Yes.
Sheldon, what camera do you want me to show this to? Two, right there. Okay. This one says Normandy on it.
Yeah.
Talk about that one.
I don't know the name of the man, but there's a man in Normandy who felt so indebted to the Canadians that he wanted to do something. So he had 600 of those made, and it's got a registration number on the back, and it's registered to me. See it there?
Oh, yes.
It's unique. They all.
Okay.
And I don't wear it because I wasn't in Normandy, but I got it, and then they gave it to me, and what am I going to do?
Gotcha. All right. Let's talk about this one here. This one says, thank you, Canada, merci, 1945, 1995.
Yeah.
What's this one?
Dutch. That's a Dutch one, and it was given to Canadian soldiers who fought to liberate their land. And it's a little different than these medals, but it's a nice medal.
I got one more big one here, and then we'll look at the ones on your chest.
That's French.
This one is, it's got flags on it. The print's too small for me to read, unfortunately, but tell me what's the story behind this one?
I don't know, because I think the countries, I don't know how they thought to organize this, but they all wanted some glory for giving medals, and that's from France.
Oh, I see, yeah. It says on the back, Le Mémorial du Caen. Okay, C-A-E-N.
Caen.
Where's that one then?
Caen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the ones on your chest. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they're all for?
I think I might. I don't know. There's nothing. These are not campaign medals as much as service medals.
Okay.
By that I mean that you could get these by doing the service job that I was talking about at the beginning, where you give supplies out.
Sure.
You're as long as you're enrolled in the Canadian Army doing a job to fight Germans or whatever you're fighting, you are entitled to these medals.
Got it. I see 2 sort of golden ones and 3 silver ones.
Well, this one here is a victory medal. Everyone gets that one.
Okay.
And this one here is CVSM and clasp, Canadian Voluntary Service Medal and clasp. If you joined in 39, you got the clasp.
Okay.
This is the defense medal, the fire and the death and the green field of England. If you helped defend England during the war, you got that one. And I was over there for 6.5 years, so I had a good swing at it. And these are stars, and this is the France-Germany star. If you fought in France or Germany, or any combination of it, you got that one.
You got that one, okay.
And this guy here, I don't know, I can't even think of it, but when you read medals, they're always in the same order. I don't know if you noticed that.
I see, yes indeed.
And this is the highest medal I've got, whatever it's for. And some people get, well, this one isn't very high, I guess, because they'll push it at you. But some of them you have to apply for or fill out a form. Or.
I see. Mr. Hadden, do you do the same thing on Remembrance Day every year? Do you have a tradition?
I do the same thing.
Yeah?
Well.
Tell us what you do.
Well, I go to Fort York, and I park my car, and I walk along with a lot of other people who are a lot of women, a lot of ladies carrying flag, and older style flags, not like the Union Jack. It's before the Union Jack was what it finally became. And so there's a number of people who come out of there, and they're dressed in uniforms of the day, like when they were fighting the Americans. This is where the battle. This is the battleground. This place I go to, behind Fort York, there is they scooped up all the what was left of all the gravestones, and embedded them in a small wall, and that's their sort of memorial, which is nice.
There was a hell of a battle there 200 years ago.
Yeah. A lot of fighting went there, and a lot of from different wars also. They buried people there.
Now tell me this: 25 years ago, you probably had lots of buddies that you went to Remembrance Day ceremonies with.
Yeah.
Today, how many?
We'll probably have 2, maybe 3.
You and a couple of other guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And it's very sad. It's affected me more than I thought it would, because over the years you try and keep this together, and you have some good stories to tell, and you talk, and I like it. But then now I find out that people I never ever suspected would die have gone, and they've been right here being interviewed. You know.
Who do you tend to remember on Remembrance Day?
Well, I had a buddy. I don't know if everybody has a buddy or not, but maybe they do. I had a fellow who came from East Angus, Quebec, and he joined the army in Sherbrooke, and I joined the army in Sherbrooke, and we bumped together, and then we used to go out on the town once in a while, and he was I'm not much of a drinker, but he's pretty good at that stuff. And he's good at playing cards, and he used to play poker a lot and get money, and he's probably the closest to one I was with. But it's strange to me, he was 6 years older than I was, and he was, he and I went through a lot together, a lot of training we did together, this course and that course, so, and
Did he survive the war?
yeah, he did now, but.
Did you stay friends after the war?
Oh yes. We were in business together.
Oh.
And we used to make aircraft canopies for fighters, for both America and Chiang Kai-shek and a lot of people.
How long ago did he die?
15 years ago, maybe.
50?
15.
Oh, 15, I see.
Maybe
Okay.
15. But he had I don't know. He was a nice. He was a good buddy. I know some buddies, they want to fight or they want to drink or they want to do. I could.
You got a great scrapbook here. I'm going to show these pictures to the camera. And are you in this picture?
Yes, I am.
Which one's you?
Let me get my glasses out. That building was bombed. You can see the tar paper in the window there.
Oh, yes, okay.
Which
This is the
kind of-
Royal Armoured Corps in Sandhurst, which of course is like, it's West Point for Britain, I guess is the best way to describe
it's the
it.
best one for all the continent.
Yeah.
All the kings and so on all go there, and all the princes and
And
so
this is 1944. Which guy are you in this picture? That's a good-looking bunch of guys.
How am I going to tell with that? This was one of my roommates, Peter Cuff. He's an Englishman. Yes, he's an Oxford or Cambridge guy. He and the other guy, I can't find him in that picture. So there's 3 cadets to a room, and I am. Where the heck am I? Can I look at it square on?
Yeah, sure. This is almost 70 years ago, after all.
That's me.
There you are there.
Can you recognize me?
Which, that one there, is that you?
That guy right there.
Right here. Okay, take your hand out for a second. That's you right there?
Yep.
Let's make sure we get a good shot.
That group of people are from anywhere. They're not just Canadians. The Sandhurst will take on, if you got the money and I want to pay, they will train you cadets. And when the last group of soldiers goes up the stairs, this is the adjutant, and he rides the white horse up there. It's a tradition, eh?
Oh, I see.
And that's Eisenhower there.
This is Ike.
This is Ike
Let's show
here.
this one here.
This is Ike here.
How'd you get those pictures?
Well, I'm in it.
You're in that shot with Ike.
No, yeah, I'm over here though. Well, let's see. I'm the 3rd one along in the front row. Can you see right there?
Huh, okay. Where's this?
Sandhurst.
That's at
Canterbury.
Sandhurst.
Yeah.
So the Supreme Allied Commander came by to check you guys
he
out,
took the salute, yeah.
to review the troops.
And this is a squadron. You see a whole line of men? Mm-hmm. That's a squadron of men, and there's they graduate a group every week. That's how they were putting them through during the war. It's a 26-week course, and you're able to graduate.
Okay, I want to know what the story is behind this picture. I'm going to hold this one up here. Mr. Hadden,
Yeah.
you've got a very nasty black eye in that shot. What's that
Well,
from?
not only that, I have my cheekbones broken through the eye socket.
How'd that
and
happen?
broken back here, fighting.
You had a fight
Yeah.
with one of our side or their side?
Our side.
What, you-
Depressed. I got a depressed cheekbone.
Have a seat if you would. Tell me the story. What do you mean? You got into a fight with one of our own guys?
Yeah.
Over what?
Stupid. The lights go out in barracks at 10 o'clock. So at 10 o'clock, unless you got a pass and you're gone somewhere, you are in dark. And they, I don't know how I can begin this story, but the sergeant's mess, I was a private, and the sergeants can push the buttons and make your life pretty miserable. And anyway, the sergeants wanted to have a dance, so they have to import women. You can't just pick them off the street. So they order the women. They ask for the women from Westchester, which is halfway between our camp and Southampton, which is the south coast, and when they want to have a dance like that, they have to supply transportation.
Are you telling me you guys got into a fight over a girl?
No.
Okay,
No,
I thought that's where the story was going.
No, it's not going there. But I went down to Winchester at the time allotted and picked up the number of girls, brought them up to the sergeant's mess, and let them off. And just as I was going back into the sergeant's mess, which is the kitchen area as opposed to the dining area, there was one sergeant waiting on bar. He didn't dance, I don't think. So he rolled up his sleeves and he served booze. And anyway, when I got these girls unloaded, I didn't know what to do with myself because there's no lights on. It's dark. All the huts are dark. You can't. There's nowhere to go. But I knew there was a dance going on. I knew there was lights. So I wandered over to the sergeant's mess. And as I was going into the sergeant's mess, I had to walk along a little piece of aisle. Aisle? Is that right? And I met the sergeant who had he was serving his beer here and he has other beer stored a little further down. So you had to go through this bit of hall here in order to keep the beer flowing. And he was doing that, and I guess he was quite busy because he seemed to be by himself. But he says, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I'm your driver for the night. I'm driving your recreational transport." And he said, "Well, you're not staying here. You know, they're rude. They're brutes. They're trained to be brutes, I think, or killers, whatever you want to call it." And anyway, he says, "Out." Out. He was very rude. So I had nowhere to go. So I wandered back to the barracks. And I don't know, I think I went into the ablutions room because there's lights on there. But then I looked at the time and it was just about time the dance had to end at midnight. So the clock was approaching midnight, so I went over to the sergeant's mess to get my instructions of when they're going to leave, etc. Anyway, when I went in the back door, I had to walk down this bit of aisle, you know, I told you about. And who did I walk into but that son of a bitch? And he said, "You're back again,
I told you to get out of here.
You're back again, eh? You want more, eh?" And he just grabbed me by the collar, the back of the collar, and the ass of the pants. And I was gone, eh?
Sucker punched you.
Oh, sure, he pounded the hell out of me. And he, as I say, he broke my jaw, he broke some teeth, and he drove my cheekbone down.
Oof.
And he didn't know there was any witnesses. This is the part that becomes a little peculiar. But my nose was broken, and I guess I was an awful-looking mess. But he might take it too long with this story.
No, keep going.
Anyway, he just hanged me, you know, had me brought back the, and he pounded me. And anyway, I couldn't possibly drive a truck that night, so I was taken. There was nobody on duty at the medical except the medical sergeant who was at the dance. So he took me up to the med room, and he put sticks up my nose and lifted my nose up and pulled it over, eh? And
looks okay today.
Well, thank you.
You did a good job.
Thank you. Well, he was one of the best surgeons in Toronto.
Tell me honestly, what hurt more? The mortar into the leg with the shrapnel, or
this went dumb. This one, it went numb, eh? Just like.
Or the beating you took? Did that hurt more?
I think so. Yeah. Anyway, I was in a bad position now because the sergeant had fixed me up as best he could, put me in bed, and took me to the bed. He said, "Go on sick parade in the morning." So when the room awoke in the morning, everybody gets up and gets washed and so on. They looked at me, and I was laying in that bed, and I guess that must have been one hell of a sight. Eh? It had bled internally, and
big mess.
a big mess. Anyway, the people in the, this is what scared me a little bit. The people in the barrack room refused to go on parade. They said, no way, we're not working with a sergeant who can pound up a private, you know. Anyway, they said, what do you want us to do with him? Because we'll kill him if you want, you know.
What'd you say?
Oh, I said, don't kill him. I said, that's the wrong way to go. He said, well, we're not going on parade unless you have him court-martialed. So I had no alternative.
So they court-martialed him?
Yeah. Oh, I applied to have him court-martialed, and it was accepted, and it went before the court-martial. But they were not. They looked upon a sergeant as having a halo, you know. I think because he got 23 days pay for being under close arrest, because he was under close arrest all the time I was in the hospital.
I want to show a letter here. This is from the Department of National Defense.
Yeah.
It's about a year after the war is over, and it says here, Dear Mr. Hadden, its task so splendidly fulfilled, and the Canadian Army is now being demobilized, and accordingly it has become possible for you to retire from active service and return to your civilian status. And there's the letter, officially, 1st of June, 46. That's the letter officially telling you you can go home.
Yeah.
Do you remember how you felt when you got that letter?
Oh, that was another day. I felt good because I exercised my rights. And I had, in the Army, you get points for service, and you get 2 points for every month, I think it is, overseas, and 1 point for every month in Canada. And when you get 60 points, you get a leave.
I see.
Extra leave.
Okay, what's this here?
That's,
I mean, I know who that is. That's Ronald Reagan. Why do you have an autographed picture of Ronald Reagan in here?
Well, I got the real picture. That's just a copy.
That's the copy, but there it is with the signature at the bottom.
Yeah.
Were you a Reagan fan?
No, I like Reagan. Yeah, I like Reagan very much. But I don't think he knew me. I knew somebody in the White House, and I could get all kinds. I got all kinds of souvenirs from Ronald Reagan.
I see. But, there's one more I want to show here. Let me see. I think it's easier if I take it out like this. This is an invitation to you for the official lunch offered by the village of Calais on the occasion of the first anniversary of its liberation. Yeah. This is the 1st of October, 1945. Did you go to that?
Oh, yeah.
You sure did.
I sure did.
What do you remember of that event?
Well, I remember that they came to me and said, you got to take 50 men to Calais for the first anniversary of the liberation. And these guys had been in a tank for a year, you know what I mean? So they had to be taken out and marched up and down and up and down and up and down, you know, so that they were decent. And we put in 50 men, Britain put in 50 men, France put in 50 men, and I don't know if anybody else did or not. But there's my mom and my dad and myself.
Now, we got to show this. This is fantastic. Look at this here. You mentioned before that your father, right here, fought in World War I. Died in 1929. Yep. Survived the war, but died in a car accident.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yep.
How old were you here?
7.
You're 7 years old here.
See the clothes I'm wearing?
Yep.
You see them? See, I got 2 same kind of boots. I got holes in my sweater. We had nothing, eh? We had no cash flow.
Oh, look at that. You do, don't you?
And I can't tell you. I hung up my stocking at Christmas time. And Christmas morning, there was nothing in it. You know, these are the sort of things. I mean, it scares me today. I don't know if you want to read that little thing. My sister put that together for me.
It says here, this is about 12 years old, this up. Well, no, 202, 11 years old. Ed, hope you enjoy this collection of memories that celebrate a very special bond which began 80 years ago in the eastern townships of Quebec. Over the years, we have shared a wonderful and steadfast relationship with a dear brother and uncle and his family. Love, Till and family. Till's your sister.
This is the church I was christened in, and this is my grade 1. I was going to school. There's me there. And there's the last picture of my dad. There's my old car. What do you think of my old car?
That's your old car. Let's take a look at that. What kind of car is that?
1929 Ford Model
A
A.
29 Ford.
Model A.
They look a little better now. Although that's a pretty sweet looking ride.
That's the farm they gave my dad. He's trying to grow hay on a rock pile, you know? He just doesn't.
I want to see some of, here we go. Okay, this is what I wanted to see here. This is right here.
Yeah.
Who's this with the baby?
It's Mulholland. Pardon me?
Who's this with the baby?
It's me,
That's you. Who's the baby?
my eldest daughter. She's born in England.
Born in England.
Yeah. There's my wife.
On Canada Day, right?
Yeah, Canada.
Nice.
Yeah.
And this picture over here, who's this?
That's the River Thames in the background. And I used to train drivers because we were short of drivers. I used to do about 100 a week. And
You're a big guy there, Mr. Hadden.
Pardon me?
You're a big guy in that picture. You look pretty tall.
Well, I don't know.
Or is the other guy just really short?
Probably short. I don't know. I wore that belt because I was riding a Harley every day, and it hurt on your back. I put 10,000 miles on the Harley.
10,000 miles.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another great shot of you in uniform. Let's look at this one here. This is just at the outbreak of the war.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
in
had the First World War uniforms on. There's the other one. It's the only one that had that one there.
This one in the middle here?
Yeah,
Just pan over a little bit. There we go. What are you wearing a World War I uniform for?
Because we didn't have anything else. That's the only uniform. They weren't the ones we used during the fighting were not invented. We had to go back to the old World War.
Oh, for goodness sakes. And I should ask, this is in Brook Street. Where's Brook Street?
Brook Street's in Sherbrooke.
In Sherbrooke, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, the memories in this book, isn't this something? Yeah. Let's do one more here on the bottom. David, come on in here. All of his buddies here.
Yeah,
Tell us who's in this shot.
The first year I joined the NPAM, I became a gunner.
You are a tall guy. Look, you're taller than everybody in every picture.
Yeah, I was probably 6 feet. I don't know. Anyway, I was trained as a machine gunner, a Vickers machine gunner. That's 2 nights a week in summer camp. But the next year, I didn't want to do that, so I went to Lucas Lamps. You see the one in there? These are some of my regiments I'd been with, which are kind of interesting.
Where's a picture of your wife? We got to see your wife.
There.
Let's show this one. Am I allowed to say? I think you got.
That's Eileen. Yeah.
You got great taste. Look at her. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
Where'd you meet her?
In London.
In London.
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah.
So if not for your going overseas to serve in the war, you wouldn't have met her and you wouldn't have had all those kids.
That's correct. Absolutely right.
So it was kind of good that you went to war.
Oh, I don't regret it for lots of reasons. I think it was a great experience for me, and it yanked me right out of my, well, you saw what I was like before. It yanked me right out of that old depressed life I was with.
Fantastic keepsakes here. Just great. Just great. I want to ask you one last question. You know, when I was a kid, we didn't do much on Remembrance Day. And it was a shame that we didn't. Shame on us. But it seems to be these days we're doing more and we're doing better.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Are we doing an adequate amount to celebrate what our vets have done?
I think so. I think so. I think if you get too much, then you get another feeling. You know, not that again. It's like listening to Rob on the TV today. You know what I mean? You've heard it every day for weeks now. Mm-hmm. No, I think they're okay. I'm not sure. I never had much of a chance to talk to my father because I was too young and he was too busy.
Yeah.
He was trying to make that farm go and it just wouldn't go. You couldn't push it, you couldn't pull it, you know. And I wish as I said before, I wish I had more chance to talk with him and get more. I don't know. I think I would have joined the Army just the same. It wouldn't have stopped me. I don't like war. I don't like fighting. I don't like any of that stuff. But sometimes it has to be done, eh? And I think we did a reasonably good job. We started off with nothing. We had nothing at the beginning of the war. I don't think, we didn't even have uniforms, nothing.
I would say, from my generation to yours, for what it's worth, I think you did more than a reasonably good job. You defeated the worst evil the world had ever known.
So we beat them. I mean,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, I always sort of, I can't clap myself on the back, but I say, we beat them. No matter how smart. They were good, better soldiers than we were, and they had better equipment, but we beat them. And it's funny how that can happen, eh?
Indeed.
Yeah.
I want to say to the people watching us on television right now that Mr. Hadden and I have had a very long and wonderful conversation, some of which you've seen on television, but the whole conversation will be on the website, theagenda.tvo.org. We've got about an hour of this there. Pictures, medals, stories. It's so good of you to come in today and share your Remembrance Day with us. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Hadden.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I'm always willing to talk about the war.
Support Ontario's public television. Donate at tvo.org.